We're good now. Yeah.
Question: Does anybody happen to know? You have to have the volume up on the stream itself, but can you mute the tab and it still count as a view?
Oh,
because I know that you have to have volume up at least a little bit on the stream itself to count as a view.
I did not know that.
Somebody told me that. Well, because I just don't want to have to hear us talk double, because I have the stream pulled up on this instead of my laptop.
Yeah, hello everybody.
Hello.
Can everybody hear everyone? Because sometimes that happens.
Hello. Yeah, it looks like it's coming through.
Let us know if our sultry tones can tickle your ears.
And our not so sultry tones.
I was about to say, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, buddy. I ain't got no goddamn sultry tones.
Austin's over here eating.
Mouthful.
Yeah,
I ain't got no goddamn.
I sound like a 16-year-old kid with problems pronouncing things.
With the dip in their mouth.
Well, right now, yeah.
Yeah, this is the dip stream.
We play D&D with dip in our mouths.
What a dumb gimmick that would be.
We're good. I can hear everybody.
No, what we gotta do is okay. Have I ever told you about that game that I have this visceral memory of playing? That was like, you play a redneck in like Kansas or something, fighting aliens, and it was really weird. Just like I never believed it was a real game because I was like, I have memories of this, and then I looked it up and it turns out it was real.
Oh, those are always
that would be the kind of setting where that would be appropriate. Where we're all just playing rednecks fighting off in an alien invasion in D&D, and just we get into character by sticking lots of dip.
I mean, isn't that kind of what? Never mind. I was gonna say, isn't that what Baldur's Gate 3 is about? But maybe. Anyway.
Oh yeah, are we supposed to open this thing or something? I don't.
Open what thing?
You know, like start the stream in some kind of way of like opening.
I don't know. I've never done this before.
It's not that kind of stream, Travis.
Oh, okay. No, it's not that deep as our famous Jacob Todd says.
Hey everybody, thanks for being here for Sharn Nights on my Twitch channel. I am Logan, also NeverSayDice on the internets. And these are all of my friends. I don't like doing announcements. They're not fun. That's why I like doing it on my Twitch panel. So just my channel panels, to see any kind of new stuff like my website. The one announcement that I do want to note of is there's some new emotes. But on one condition: reach 15 subscribers, and then you'll get some new emotes. We are very close. There is a subs goal little doobly-doo there. We are almost there. We need 4 more. So invite your friends, give some subs, do whatever it takes, and you'll get 3 emotes. Well, if you do the tier 3 sub, you'll get based on Gamer, the NPC that was haphazardly introduced one session, and it became like a fun little mascot thing. You can see one of the emotes on my Twitch panels. You can get a link to the artist's Twitter and all sorts of good stuff. So yes, bring your friends, subscribe. We are almost to the 15 mark. And then you'll be getting some rad emotes. Besides that, I think that's enough. I'm starting a new D&D campaign that I'm stoked about that I'm going to be I'm hoping to do fun stuff with I have not even talked to my own about. I'll be right back.
Oh wow.
I
hate him.
I need to add Austin to my little shout out thing.
Also that I'm gonna start streaming soon. I think some easy to run games because I have a new computer, so I'm gonna do some stuff. Probably nothing too crazy, but yeah.
Now
I haven't decided what if I'm gonna keep my Twitch name as DJ Todd yet, but I probably will because if it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
Exactly.
I don't know if you know or not yet, but what is this? What are some of these easy to run games that you may be streaming?
Perhaps you're so good at advertising.
Maybe Monster Prom and Monster Camp with my good friends Travis and Xavier.
Oh, cool. I didn't know we were friends, but that's good.
Yeah, wait, you didn't ask me beforehand.
You don't have
What? If we were
permission.
friends?
No.
Xavier, we broke bread together. We played Overwatch together.
Well, this is
Well,
awkward to
that's still
find
pending,
out
but
on
that sounds good.
stream.
I have my people talk to your
No
people.
respect.
Your manager, your agents, your agents will be in touch.
Timely Rodney Dangerfield reference.
That reminds me, we also for my tier 3 subscribers, we have a new note, and it's a little spike cowboy boot with cowboy hat and sunglasses. Cute. So yes, I'm gonna go get a refill. Bill fast. So if Xavier or Alan or want to advertise things, your Twitch streams, your YouTube channels, your that, go ahead and do that now.
Xavier, I have heard that you have a schedule that you have announced.
Ooh.
Yes. This year, one thing I'm trying to do is work on growth, and one of the things that I've read that helps with that is consistency. So I have a schedule. I am streaming every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. EST onwards. Now, that doesn't mean that those are the only days I'll be streaming. Those are just the days that are scheduled. So you're guaranteed to get a stream on those days. I may also stream on the weekend as well. We're also starting a new series on my channel. We've already started it, but it's The Evil Within 2. It's a lot of fun, very similar to Resident Evil. And if you've watched me play those games, it's a lot of shenanigans. So it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, and you can find me at Xylo Plays on Twitch.
Alan, are you ever gonna stop test streaming, or are we getting test stream number 40 now?
Yeah. We're gonna get some more test streams, figure out some more of the kinks in the, system. I'm not mature enough to have a consistent schedule yet.
Relatable.
Yeah, I stream stuff. I stream just kind of any, I don't know, whatever games. I'm not a very good streamer. I don't know what I can stream.
Austin.
Hi.
What are you streaming? Are you streaming anytime soon?
Probably tomorrow, maybe the next day. I also don't have a schedule because I just kind of do this whenever I feel like it, I suppose. I got some new games and I'm very excited about them. And yesterday afternoon, I started streaming a game that I just got called Desync. The best way that it has been described so far is it's basically synthwave Doom. It's really fucking cool so far. It's kind of hard, but I enjoy it. I just started that, and I've exercising so much self-restraint by not playing it off stream. So I'm just gonna play it all on stream the whole way through at some point over the next couple of weeks, I suppose. Probably tomorrow.
That's like the best motivation. Games that you really want to play, and then like commit to only playing it on stream. You're like, well, now I'm just gonna stream every day, and because I want to play this game.
Yeah, basically.
Alrighty. Everyone, tell Aaron in the chat happy birthday. If you haven't done.
Happy birthday, Aaron!
Birthday.
I was hoping that I would see
Happy
you
birthday.
or like hear you in chat or something before, but I didn't. So happy birthday!
So, I think with that, Carson's gonna pour.
That I am. A little bullet rye for you.
Let me
I should stream chess. Is that a thing?
streaming chess.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing. That is very much a thing.
Yeah,
They rage over chess.
Yeah, I think that's what Queen's Gambit is about.
Twitch streamer.
You got so close, and yet
The Queen's PogChamp.
I hate all of this.
I love
I'll
that.
stream
I'm
myself.
with Travis on this one. I am
I'll
not a
stream
fan.
myself rewatching Queen's Gambit.
But like not the actual, just your reaction to
Just
it.
my-
Like, you don't know
It's
what
just-
you're watching.
And they have to you have to mute the audio because you don't want to get in trouble. So it's just no sound, just you
Just
sitting
Alan going like, ha ha ha.
Ooh.
It'll just be a
Nice.
gif of a chest.
Alan
piece
is a
moving,
React
yeah.
channel now.
I mean, he
Alan's
kind of
always been-
yeah.
what do
He
you mean
started as a
now?
React
Yeah.
channel. Also, in case anyone missed it, if you scroll up to some of my multi-month subscribers, badges and stuff,
Ooh.
a bunch of badges that you'll have to like sift through. But a couple cool ones. Nuggets. But I think badges. I think. Go ahead and start. There's. I say the layout's new. It's not. I just made everyone big.
Bigger and better.
Bigger and better.
Oh
Make us
man!
bigger
Right
on
from the
the
start.
Thicker.
From the start.
Like, what is the point of the little black box? Do you know? Like, what can I delete this little black box that's in the stream? Like, I don't.
That is the closed captions box.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Travis.
I'm not sure how well it will work. Having 7.
I
Oh, dear.
Rachel's stream the other day. I was watching and it was doing a pretty good job.
Is it talking?
So-
I don't feel like it's closed caption. Let me see if I can turn it on.
Yeah, I think you have to manually do it yourself as viewers. You have to manually tinker with it. Go up. Oh, it has been
Something.
4 weeks.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Oh my god.
Oh, Recap will either have too many details or not nearly enough details because it's been too long.
Somehow both.
It
Somehow
depends. Do
both.
you want an approximation or do you want detail-oriented things? Because who you ask will change this.
I was gonna offer to
Absolutely.
do it myself unless someone really is confident in their note taking. The reason why I was gonna offer is because you guys split up, and I imagine that one group did not take notes about the other group.
Nope.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I was not paying attention.
That's
to the other group.
exactly what I thought.
What are
Um,
notes?
What are notes? Exactly. Travis, do you have Final Fantasy pulled up, ready to go?
I do. Yes. I
Okay,
do,
cool,
actually
awesome.
do,
Just
yeah.
making sure we had all of our bases covered. So.
I need to pull up my game when.
Oh my
the
god!
focus is on
I'm
me.
actually fishing right now.
Oh,
I'm
hell.
glad you asked.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta have the you gotta have Streamlabs open. You have to have the Stream Manager open. You
Yep.
have to have 5e tools open. You have to have Final Fantasy open. That's what you.
It's important. It's the next step.
So
let's
let's
put
do it
some
this way.
racket
Can I get a volunteer from the group who broke into the office and a volunteer from the group?
I can do office group.
Alan and whoever wants to go first. If you sort of your own recap
Yeah,
of what happened last session, and also kind of what you're about to be doing.
Okay, you want to take this out?
Yeah, sure. Hang on. Let me drink some water.
Oh no.
They make
gotta wet the
Crystal
pipes,
Snapple
yeah.
now.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
water
like
in a Snapple jar. I don't
it's
know
like
if you were here.
that
We went
clear
through this.
Pepsi.
Yeah,
you
Crystal
know?
Pepsi.
Yeah, that already
Um,
exists.
Have you ever had that?
It's
Not good.
It's just sugar. It's just
We're
sugar.
already so off topic.
Anyway, Alan, go.
All right. So what happened was, we decided at the beginning to split the party into 2 different groups, and my party had Cornelius and Oleg and myself, and we decided to follow Professor Cloveholler. He went to Little Plains in middle Memphis. And I think it was a place full of Talentia halflings. It was like a little Chinatown kind of esque place, and I think somebody stole some money from us, and then we lost them for a bit. We get to the place, and I wrote it's a very bone punky aesthetic. Everything has bones incorporated or infused with it. and we get to this club called the Scarlet Frond, where all the the top players of the Bormar clan hang out. And so we follow Cloveholler in, and he has a discussion with one of the Bormar leaders, Keelan, this cool halfling guy, and that's when I get a flashback, and apparently Wendeline isn't a huge fan of the Bormar clan because her family got killed in a little mix-up with them. And then we get some verbal confirmation while we're eavesdropping that Cloveholler sold Kleinite oil, his invention, to the clan. And then I try and break into Keelan's office to try and get some more info. But I guess I accidentally set an alarm off. But it's okay because we escaped. And then we just start heading back to the university to gather and trade info. And I put in a little note to check out the Talentia food trucks at some point. Yeah.
Cool. So, following my notes here, I'll just say the first 2 points verbatim. So Cornelius, Wendeline, and Oleg went to follow Cloveholler, and we went, myself, Spike, and Donovan went to break into his office. And I next have, lol, they're fucking this up real bad.
Who's fucking this up real bad?
A little editorializing there, but so Cloveholler's office is in the science tower. Moregrave is formed by was it a pentagon of 5 different towers, each of which are around 90 stories. So very big structures connected by segments of wall. So Cloveholler's office is in the science tower. Each office, Moregrave, around 90 stories. His office is on the 60th floor. I thought back to a classmate I had, a Fearbolg woman named Snow, who had a dwarven servant / bodyguard. So we devised that since I was allowed to be here, but Donovan and Spike were not, Donovan would disguise himself as a student, and Spike would act as my bodyguard for the time being. And we went up, nobody giving us really a second look. While we were in the elevator, we stopped on one floor and saw a late teens human boy with an athletic build swap and spit with a lavender skinned tiefling girl who just turned out to be our own dear Donovan's daughter. And she rolled very high on her perception check to see through his disguised self, and there was an awkward moment. And we went on from there. We got up to Cloveholler's office floor. There was an arcane lock on the door, which I believe Donovan suppressed, and we let ourselves in. And the whole place was covered with a bunch of degrees, certificates, award, and shadow boxes. We searched through his place, undoing an alarm spell, and opening a safe to find that he had indeed sold his formula for Kleinite oil to the Bormar clan. We also found a U-shaped brass device, which, under the scrutiny of Detect Magic, gave off evocation. We got a gel capsule that gave off transmutation. We found a potion of superior healing and a potion of longevity, which apparently our dear Dr. Cloveholler takes to stave off the years creeping up on him. Yeah, ours was largely successful and shenaniganless. We found our way out. Somebody in the chat gave us a little view into Varian's past urine-related misadventures. Go watch that clip if you're interested. And on the way out to meet with the rest of the gang, and I got a letter from Ludwig Trenowith, who is my advisor, an older human spellcaster, telling me something about a special visitor and that he wants to meet with me later in the day. And then we progressed onward to meet up with the rest of the party, and that's where we left off.
and here's the conversation we had right before we went live.
Little peek behind the curtain there.
Check my Patreon for some behind the scenes.
Some interesting P-related commentary.
Ooh, actually, talk about your Patreon. I'm sorry to plug your own Patreon, but the behind the scenes from last time was really interesting. The Christmas episode.
And because we literally left the day after that one shot, the actual one shot itself has not been uploaded to YouTube, but it will be tomorrow. And upon doing that, a little and discuss little video will be posted on my page, which is being reworked at the moment. But you'll essentially be able to get all my Patreon stuff for $4 a month. Pretty cheap, and it's gonna make it easier on me and everyone to have fun and post stuff on there.
You said just $4? As in the cost of a Taco Bell a meal?
Or a Wendy's 4 for $4?
What you could just skip one 4 for $4 a month and get access to all sorts of cool.
Almost, you could just skip your avocado toast, you millennial.
All right, old man Travis. All right, buddy.
Oh my god.
So, so we did after the session.
Right at Chocobo.
Session a few weeks ago. We sat back and we asked Xavier some questions about the one shot, and we talked about some D&D and all sorts of stuff. So if you want to see that conversation, check it out on my page. Anyways, so you all are sitting in the Wargrave University court, and once again, I just feel the need to put this campaign in perspective. The entirety of last session took about 45 minutes to an hour of it. Not long at all. Between Clove Holler leaving campus and coming back to campus, and you guys... Oh, did you guys switch around or something? Yeah, it got switched around for some reason.
Lol.
I can play Oleg.
Alan, do your best Oleg impression.
You're playing a different
We're
character
role
today.
play roulette.
Yeah,
Who
hello.
am I?
Bang bang.
Hello, Bing Bing.
Hello, bang
I
bang.
hate
Right on the money.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with that. So you guys are meeting in the courtyard of Moorgrave. As you are returning back to camp, heading down to the courtyard, the weather has been a bit adverse. An overcast today. Has clouds start to come through, a nice. So you imagine it won't be too long before you all are forced inside into Student Union, effectively academic towers. But for the time being, you all arrive. Varian, Donovan, and Spike, you would probably get to the courtyard first. Klein Cloveholler make his way back across campus, nodding at people, stopping to have a conversation, make his way over to the science tower, and go. And then just a few minutes later, Oleg, Wendeline, and Elias arrive on campus. All can regroup and roll.
Oh, good. They're back. Wendeline, Oleg,
Hey.
Cornelius, over here.
No, over here.
Greetings, fellow kids.
Oh yeah, Donovan, do you still have your guys on, or did you
Yeah.
drop that shit?
Yeah. I still have it on.
Who is this person? Why is he talking to me? Should I shoot him?
Like out of game, your investigation is high enough that you could probably realize it's me.
I'm going to
Like
have to
inside.
ask that all of you stay 5 feet away from Varian. Stay 5 feet away. 5 feet. Arm's length.
He's really in character.
What happened to
Varian,
Varian?
are you okay? Are you all right? I saw that they got a little close to you. Are you okay?
Doing just fine. I love your commitment.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Did you find anything, you all?
We sure did. Using some subtle and not so subtle methods,
Also,
we were able to observe, or well, I was able to observe the conversation between Klein Klovehaller and a pretty high-ranking member of the Boromar discussing him having sold his formula to them. It's clear that Klovehaller clearly doesn't actually know what's going on right now. In fact, he is kind of, how shall we say, backpedaling a little bit on this, trying to backpedal on this deal that he has made with the Boromar. He sold them his formula. He sold it to, he sold them the rights essentially, and he doesn't want anything to do with it now that apparently it's gaining traction as some kind of murder weapon. So, largely innocent of the actual whatever is going on, but yes, he did sell it to them. Saw the words with my own two eyes.
That corroborates what we found in his office. All right. So, any ideas on our next move?
That's a good question. The Boromar, from the way that that higher ranking Boromar guy was talking to him, he was giving him the runaround, but he wasn't necessarily lying about their involvement. It doesn't seem like the Boromar know what's going on either. It was sold to the Boromar, the formula. Apparently the Boromar are doing distribution, essentially. Who it gets in the hands of. So essentially, it could be any number of their clients, and that could be literally anybody. So that is the read that I got. It looks like he's not lying.
Are they going through a middleman, or are there just too many clients for them to know?
It's possible that it's probably too many clients.
It might keep books or something like that.
That is true. They could keep books, but like I said, pinpointing who the problem is out of the gods know how many people they deal with and sell this to. I mean, if we got a hold of the books and found out that it was like a handful of people, I mean, yeah, but if they've been selling it to whoever, whenever, wherever, it doesn't really narrow it down for us all that much.
Logan, what I know from my time and experience with Boromar, would they keep books on something like that? Like just for accountability's sake?
Yeah, most definitely.
Someone to blame if something goes wrong.
But typically it's divided up amidst probably several different people to keep track of. So there's no telling who might have it right now.
Would I... So I not even I would like know on who would normally keep those kind of books?
You haven't been in that world in a while.
Do we know anybody who with connections to the Boromar?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Well, I used to deal with them, but definitely not anymore.
Okay, deal.
That was a different life.
Go ahead, Oleg.
A different life, you say? Why? What was this other life you had?
Light cigarette. Well, it was a long time ago. Not a world that I live in anymore. But I do know that they have books. The matter is not if they exist, the matter of who's holding on to them right now.
Well, I certainly hope they're not back at the club, because they were not exactly in a good mood by the time we left.
Did you make a commotion?
Somebody did.
No, 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 no.
I just kind of look. I just kind of like side eye Wendeline and the bird.
Did they see your face?
Pickle and I simultaneously look in another direction. Like,
Okay, that answers that question.
I don't think they saw faces necessarily, or at least were able to. I don't know. Wendeline, did they see your face?
no.
Then
Wait, did
they
they see my
probably
face?
wouldn't
I don't think I
recognize
saw
us
it.
as,
Were you
as a
doing
commotion.
the thing?
I had a
The
coat
thing
on.
You always do.
You had the. I don't remember. You had a coat
I don't
on?
know. Oleg and I were downstairs, and
Do
nothing was
magic
really happening
cameras
downstairs.
exist? Do cameras exist?
No.
No, we
There
talked
are recording
about
crystals. I do remember there being recording crystals because that was a point with what's his face at his manor, because I asked about the recording crystals and they said they already checked and there was nothing there.
Oh yeah.
Alden Dorian.
Maybe
Yes.
maybe they don't have still pictures, but all they have is moving pictures. They haven't figured out the technology to make it stop.
Like, just keep rewinding it until we get it. Just keep rewinding it until we
Yeah,
get
that's a can before the can opener situation, if I've ever seen one.
I can't pause my TiVo.
Would does anybody have like well, we could just always go pretend to be interested in buying this poison in disguise and try to get it that way. Or I think that could be a route, or I think we talked about this a little bit, or I think I may have mentioned it. We could always just create an opportunity that this murderer would be a fool to refuse.
We're constantly taking baby steps in the direction of finding this person, but we always run into like 100 different avenues when we get there. So if we can try to get straight to whoever this person is,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got two dragon mark people right here, and if that's the MO,
Well, that's the thing. We don't necessarily know that's the only MO. Like, all of the murder victims have been dragon marked, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean this individual is just looking to kill any dragon marked member they can.
didn't we talk about how they look like they're trying to like cause a scene on purpose? There was something about it that was like showy, because they sent you guys the letter, right?
Oh, I do have a sense for the dramatic.
So what I'm saying is, if we provide a stage, the actor will take their place.
In theory, they should be going after the next house, right? They've already told us that it would be coming after who was it? House of Holding? House of
There was HOM.
HOM, yes. That was some
So
mending or
making,
whatever.
mending.
Yeah. So in theory, we could just try to split up and try to see if we can catch them
House
trying
of
to kill
Mouse.
House of House, yeah.
House
House
of
of-
Mouse.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, we could just who are the largest ranking members in those groups, right? And try to see if we can catch them in that act, or try to see if we can get any kind of more information about
I guess
connections
that
between
is an
these people.
avenue we have not pursued yet.
did you say HOM?
Yeah.
HOM, yeah.
What if it's not house of something? What if it's mark of something but backwards?
Mm,
That's what they call them, right? Mark of X, right? What if it's
Yeah.
what if it's not house of this? What if it's mark of
Was it MOH? I may have just misspoken.
It was MOH.
MOH?
Oh, yeah, I just misspoke. I'm
MOH.
dumb.
Sorry,
It
Ma-
wasn't-
Marco,
it wasn't,
yes.
but you were right.
These are three
yeah,
options:
yeah.
hospitality.
hospitality, healing, and handling.
Anything,
Have any
And
of
we
those
haven't-
houses been victimized already?
I mean,
Not that we
I
know
don't
of. We
know
should. We were at the house or the mark of what was it? Healing. That's where the guy pretended to be you, right?
Yeah.
That was at a healing house, at least.
Yeah,
So they've already been. So technically, they've already been hit.
I don't feel like that's quite the same though, because they
They
weren't
didn't
hit.
kill anybody there.
Yeah, they didn't kill anybody, and they were trying to kill somebody um, who wasn't part of that house. I mean, it's possible. I mean,
Seemed very much like they, if it didn't know specifically us, they knew somebody was investigating it and wanted to get them off the case.
Either that, or they were trying to get rid of some kind of evidence.
Well, no, they knew enough to disguise themselves as
Yeah.
Cornelius, so they knew we were coming. Okay, I don't think either of these are bad options. We'd have to be very careful with each, but either setting up a sting or disguising ourselves and attempting to buy from the Boromar. Okay.
what
I do think that before anything else, maybe we should just go check in with each of those houses because we don't think we've done that yet.
that's true.
We should just
We
go
could-
check in with each of them, take the rest of the day, and I would say split up, but I don't want to do that. We've done enough splitting up today. Let's each of us, we can all go to check out those 3 houses and then call it a day and think about what we know, unless something crazy happens.
Well,
there's-
now wait a minute. Do we have enough time to do that?
Yeah, what time of day is it?
Do
Do
we
we
have enough
feel
time?
comfortable with doing that?
Right now, it is like early afternoon. Let me check to see what I concretely said the
Those
time
houses
was.
have office hours.
Yeah. It is about at this point, after discussing and stuff, about 2:30 p.m. And there are certain like house outposts throughout the city that you could visit, and or you could visit some of the residences in particular because Oleg has made those kinds of connections. So yeah, you effectively have time.
If we took the sky coach, we could probably make it to all of them.
We could. I mean,
Because
yeah. Are we trying to ask them like, hey, have you had somebody die recently? Like, what is the exact?
I think we're just trying to go there and say, hey, we have reason to believe your house might be targeted. Please be careful. Because like people know that Dragon March houses have been hit, but I don't think they know that like these specific that we have the information that the specific people are going to be hit.
Yeah.
Logan, how well publicized have these murders been, and have they been connected in the press?
Perfect. Donovan could actually answer this question very well. As of right now, they're not in the papers. They're
They
not.
probably asked us not to.
It's mostly that, like, really, it's just rumor and word of mouth at this point. And because of Alden DeOrian kind of pulling some strings, and due to bureaucracy, you guys are kind of the leading detectives on this case. The Sharn Watch and others have not been kept up to date with anything, which sort of by design, because Alden doesn't trust them at all, but also now it's just you guys doing it. But therefore, the press, aside from Donovan, they don't have any sources. They can't go to the Sharn Watch and say, can you give us any details? And they say, no, we can't. So
What's going on?
it's really has not been publicized, aside just from word of mouth and rumors.
Do we need to update Alden Dorian?
It's up to you. It has been only a little over 24 hours since the sister was murdered. So
Well, let's,
Let's-
yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we send your bird to go update Alden?
Let's
feel like-
go. Let's go try to warn the MOH people first. And as we do that, we should make sure that we keep an eye if there's anybody following us. Because if they knew about Cornelius, they might be still watching us and trying to disguise themselves as one of us somewhere else.
That is
so-
true.
We can just warn people and keep an eye out
I mean,
that
what
way.
are we trying to do when we warn them? Are we just saying, hey, like, we think you're in trouble? Like, are we gonna catch the killer that way, or are we? Like, I
I mean,
do.
hopefully, if we put them on guard, maybe if they see something suspicious, they can let us know. Because
Okay. Yeah, sure.
nobody's that good to kill that many people without leaving behind a little bit of trace. Especially
Sure,
if they're
yeah.
trying to make a show of it, leaving notes behind and shit.
Didn't we possibly say as we're going, we possibly said it could be more than one person, right? Because we had said that the killing type was different, the handwriting wasn't necessarily the same. Um,
This is true.
and
It should be some
so
sort of organization.
we still should probably look into at some point, maybe if the changeling gang possibly might have something to do with it.
Well, we know that there's at least one that has something to do with it, but I don't know. Gotta think about what the motive would be then, though. Like,
I if we have enough to determine a motive right now, we aren't connecting the dots. I mean, Logan, did we find a connection with all the victims in the Aurum?
Yes.
Okay. This Aurum connection, it could be purely circumstantial, and it could not. I think we should warn the 3 MOH houses. And in the meantime, I think the only real lead we have right now is this Bormar connection. And it may take some digging, but somebody has those books. Somebody has a name. Probably an alias, but a name that can lead us to the next breadcrumb. And I think we need to press that clue.
It's starting to sound like we're gonna have to split up if we want to do all of this.
Yeah. I know we said we didn't, but it very much says it sounds like we are, like you say, yes.
Spike, Wendeline, you work the beat a lot. Work the streets. You have any knowledge of, I guess, more current Boromar structure? Like somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Would I have like one friend still in Boromar, or like just one person that's also ex Boromar or something like that?
I'm sure you would.
I know
You got
someone.
I know a guy still.
I do know that I do have an active friend in the Boromar. She's more or less a guard, but she is Boromar.
And I know a fence for the Mirth Club that's ran by Boromar.
And I can use I know a guy.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah, amidst like half of you, you have like 1 or 2 Boromar connections each to some capacity.
Back on the Orem connection, did we ever talk to Keena Button?
Might remind me exactly who that is. I'm not.
Yeah,
sure.
I have so many notes.
That was one of the people who was in our note, right?
Mm-hmm. She, I can't remember exactly, but during like either with Miss Orion or Tingfe de Lirandar, you found a letter, an exchange between them and Keena Button in the Copper Aurum, and
Yeah, it was Tengfei Liringar.
yeah, and there were quite a few people at that Aurum ceremony, and you didn't meet Keena Button, but she was likely there. But you didn't have enough information to piece together, like, oh, there she is, like, other than being a gnome. And
I found it. Okay. I have a lot of asterisks with her name on it on my notes, and it's because we found correspondence between Tengfei and Keena in his office, and part of the correspondence was they'd be meeting with a member of House Thrash. And I think the third murder victim was associated with House Thrash, right?
The first one.
Oh, the first one, yeah. Invigus Torn.
Yep.
So this is somebody who has a connection with the Aurum and is possibly connected to 2 of the victims. And we haven't talked to her yet.
We should talk to Niskina Button.
Sure, let's do that.
Does anybody
I
know
also
where Tina Button is?
yeah,
Or
that's
where
what
we might find it? If
She's
not,
part of
I'm
the
sure I
Copper
can figure it out.
Concord.
It's a matter of public record.
She's part of the Copper Concord. So maybe we just go over there and see where she is. Maybe they know.
We also probably, I mean, can we get a list of all the people who are in MOH houses from the Copper Concord?
Or like the public library.
As in, like, cross-referencing, like, dragon mark of H's and
And the
Concord.
Copper
Yeah.
Concord, yeah.
Yeah,
If I remember correctly,
Is there a magic
actually,
ass
not
cheese at the
everybody
university?
that was killed was dragon marked. They were just members of dragon marked houses.
Mm,
Catherine
mhm.
Oren did not have a dragon mark, correct?
that's true. That's true.
Yes.
Or
But-
maybe like initials MOH in the Copper Concord. Like, is there anybody who has that initials? I know.
Yeah.
It's,
We didn't. Did we even think about it being personal initials? I don't think we did.
I don't think so. Well, because it was capital M, lowercase o, capital H, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
we'd assumed.
that is a weird way of spelling or putting it.
Mo Harrington or something of that sort, maybe.
Or like O'Hara or something. Like it's a tie-on or something. I don't know.
Mo's Tavern.
Will
Is there any dragon mark? Yeah, is there any dragon mark houses that have like O'Neill or like O something?
No.
Okay.
No,
No.
There are no Irish people in the Sharn, apparently.
Oh yeah, there's
The Irish
Greenland, there's the
ones that
Demon
are
Waste, there's the Talenta Plains, and Ireland. Right over there.
incredible.
Okay, so what is your plan of action? You have a to-do list that you just made up, like, with 10 things on it. How are you tackling this? Because some of these things, like, for instance, the cross-referencing of Mark of H houses and members of the Aurum, that wouldn't take very long. But it might take some time to acquire the paperwork, essentially, for it.
We're still by the university, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a magical version of like an Ask Jeeves at the university or something? Like they got a library probably, right? They got some information.
Wait, what was that?
Ask Jeeves, not Ass Cheese.
Okay, that's
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Like some like rudimentary, maybe a search engine.
No, they would not.
Okay.
They don't have that high power of magic available for use.
Everybody drop an AC for ass cheese in the chat.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Shut up, Austin.
Yeah.
All right.
You're all monsters.
Should we? Okay, so we need to go to the library though
They do get
for cross-referencing.
You could go to the library. You could go to the upper city, into like the city archives for stuff like that. You could probably even speak to some of the Aurum members that you know and ask them to tug a few strings and get you a little bit of paperwork, like a roster, effectively, of their members in Sharn.
Ithronella Donna, that's who it was.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like to speak to the Bormar clan.
Sure.
If anyone wants to assist me with that.
You can go.
I'm down.
Yeah, you can go.
I've got, as far as I'm aware, an okay reputation with the Boromar. So.
And you have already, Spike mentioning his fence contact, you've already visited that fence, and gotten some information from them. I saw Xavier nodding his head. Does everyone else remember that?
That's how we found out that they were a changeling, right?
Yeah, that they were
I
using
wasn't here for that.
aliases and stuff. You said, Austin, you weren't?
I wasn't here for that.
So, they visited a Boromar club, visited a fence at the Boromar club, and it turns out that fence had sold Klinite oil to a very nondescript humanoid person.
Oh, that's when we did poker.
That's when he did poker. And the name, after some bribing, manipulating, and coercion, they gave up the name, mostly because it was very obviously an alias. It was a name that was like 15 letters long, lots of consonants, lots of Y's and stuff, both first and last name. So that fence had sold the oil, but the person buying it clearly is covering their tracks.
Okay. I'd forgotten that. So, well, Carson had forgotten that. I'm sure Varian would have remembered. But, okay. So, we already know the alias they were using. And, damn it. So, unless somebody in the Boromar knows more, that may be a dead lead.
The problem is not if they know more. The problem is, are they gonna tell us? Because even if they do tell us, we're probably just gonna get, like we got before, just an alias.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, well maybe we just hold off on the Boromar plan and go ahead and find out about the people who have those marks, and go from there.
And try to talk to this button lady.
Yeah, let's start with that. And
This button lady.
this button lady.
How do you pronounce that, Logan?
That's up to you. You read it. It was not said out loud. That was something you read in the ledger, so it is up to you to pronounce.
Gavina Tremonstregrat Tornagova Workov.
Yeah, let's go with that.
My second cousin, obviously.
Yeah, so it's very clearly some
Bullshit.
name.
Very clearly bullshit.
I say we warn those houses and then go try to talk to that person that Wendeline mentioned.
All right.
Yes,
Doesn't
I'm
sound
gonna
like a bad idea.
I'm gonna go ahead and take the time, I suppose, while you're deciding to do whatever, to research the names, to see if who's in what house in the autumn.
Well, I was gonna say maybe we don't split up. We just do all these things together.
It seems like a lot.
I mean, it'll take a little bit longer, but also it'll be better just in case something goes wrong.
All right.
And
Autobots.
also, Oleg, they're kind of
Roll
your
out.
connections as well. So it'd probably be helpful for you to be there.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense, actually, yeah.
So, would you like to go see Kina Button first or warn the houses?
Dealer's choice. Doesn't matter to me.
Dealer's
I say
choice.
Maybe the houses, like, is more of
let's
it
do
as
it.
this. Maybe somebody may get killed in the interim. We don't know.
That's true.
Yeah,
don't know.
might as well go tell them first.
So,
This villain online.
and you can predict that, provided that there are no hitches or crazy things, or people like to talk or whatever. There's only 3 MOH houses: Mark of Handling, Mark of Healing, and Mark of Hospitality.
We've been
So
to a place with marked hospitality before.
I'd just like to say also, if anybody in chat remembers details that we are clearly forgetting, please feel free to drop those in there.
Yes, because they will not remember everything. That's why I try to remind them of stuff, but even I won't remember everything. So if you're paying attention,
that.
it's always very helpful. As you begin, you sort of land on a final decision of where you need to go. Light drizzle starts to come in. You start to leave Morgrave University, then it starts to rain. There's some thunder rolling off in the distance. And it's not, detrimental or anything, but it will definitely be unpleasant to ride in a sky coach in the rain and wind.
Does it not have a top?
It does not have a top. It's essentially a boat, a flying boat. But if you have prestidigitation, some basic wind magics or something, you can kind of shield yourselves.
I'll do my best to keep us dry.
If we have basic magic.
Basic magic? I like that that's an inside joke from a completely, it's such a long
From
distance
something I wasn't even a part
Yeah.
of. I just was there.
Andrew, if you're here in the chat. And I'll kind of leave this up to you guys. Do you want to roleplay any of these encounters in depth, or you find sort of like a narrative walkthrough?
I'm fine with a narrative walkthrough personally.
Yeah.
I am as well.
I am.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It would be
I'd
pretty
like to get to
similar.
plot.
It'd be pretty similar to all of them, right? Like, hey, somebody in your house is in danger. Do you know
Very
anybody
similar.
from the Aram in your house?
Yes.
Any suspicious people about?
Not like try to, I guess, send them into a tizzy with gruesome details. Just be like, there have been a series of crimes against Dragonmark houses. Lately.
Have you seen any of us?
I would suggest that when we do go to talk to them, that it's like a 2-person go up to the door kind of thing, while the rest just kind of hang back and watch, and not have all of us all at once trying to talk. Just have like the 2 people, kind of like detectives coming to the door to be like, hey, we need to just have a little chat kind of thing.
Yeah.
That way it's not a bunch of people overwhelming them.
I'll volunteer in case anybody else, unless anybody else is charisma based.
So yeah, here's what we can do. Who wants to be the main communicator? I imagine here's what we'll do. Someone will be a primary communicator, and because Oleg is there as sort of like a necessary, he knows the people, he's made these connections, he will be helping this main communicator and giving them advantage on this sort of stuff. So who wants to be this?
I guess that would ultimately depend on are we talking are we just like charisma talking to them, or is there like something specific that we're doing? I guess
I could probably talk or lead and add on.
It'll be kind of as you've outlined it to me. It'll just kind of be generic charisma.
Okay.
More leaning toward persuasion if you have proficiency.
I have expertise in persuasion, which is why I'm asking.
So persuasion
I
check.
can't roll below a 20.
So if
That's
someone
also fair.
and because we have 3 charisma people, if you guys want to each take one of the houses and kind of rotate, share the spotlight a little bit.
That'll be fun.
So we'll go effectively in alphabetical order.
I'm gonna toilet cat real quick.
Yeah, I might have to soon. You go visit any of the necessary mark of handling people. You see Oleg's friend, the ghostly pale lady who has transformed herself into a cat. You'll probably go visit her, and she can kind of tell you some other people to maybe swing by and see. The mark of handling, they are all about relationships with animals and taming animals and treating them like companions and partners and things like that. So a few of the little houses and things you visit, people you meet, all of them have pets. All of them do. And I like this image of one of you sitting in the living room of one of their houses, and it's just birds squawking obscenely loudly. And you're like, yeah, so there's been some murders.
The birds stop talking. Quiet.
What? So who wants to speak to the mark of handling house?
I'll go first.
It's pretty whatever. So go ahead and make a persuasion check for me.
It's gonna be a 23.
Awesome. So, because everything has happened in such a short time frame, of course, they've heard the rumors, but they have not seen anything crazy out of the ordinary around any of their homes. None of their family members have reported anything strange. All right, let me.
And it's gone.
So let me just this real fast. Oh, he's back already.
And Cards is back.
Good thing he was the last one to get on today, because then it just fixed the layout itself. That's awesome.
Oh, look at that. Auto-fixing layout. Woo-hoo.
Thanks, Carson. And also, Oleg, you ask about any potential other members in the Aurum. And specifically in Sharn, the Aurum itself is quite small, only 40 plus people. And whenever you speak to the Mark of Handling, Rathel is actually, really the only active member. There is... Oh, let me pull it up here. There we go. That's fine, take your time. Internet. Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Oh god, I can't even remember the house name. Dallas, that's it. There is one other person who is a member of the Aurum. They are in the Gold Concord, so they're a little bit higher up, named Ulnos de Vidalis. Ulnos. And you know that Ulnos has sort of taken on this mantle of since the Aurum is all about artifacts and history and things like that, Ulnos kind of specializes in keeping tabs on like animal trade and the exchange of like animals and beasts that are on the verge of extinction. The exchange of like rare animal eggs and weird things like that. So he kind of keeps to himself, doing a lot of that business on his own. But other than that, they are the only two in the Vidalis house who are members of the Aurum. So,
I would also like to make sure to ask about like where we would find him, just in case.
You would get an address.
Ooh, an address. Love it. You could just say has address of that person.
So I've seen in certain like Ebron adventures that they will actually give you like specific street addresses and stuff. That's too confusing for me. I'm gonna mess it up and I'm gonna forget. So I'm just gonna say you have this person's address, and
Cool.
then we're done
Sounds
with that.
Yeah.
So, with that information, you move on to the Mark of Healing house, House Jarasco. This is where it might get a little harder, and here's why. House Jarasco and the Boromar clan are both halfling families, and they're probably the most tightly entwined, groups in Sharn. There are a lot of marriages between those two families. And so it's not uncommon to hear about Boromar business in House Jarasco or vice versa. These healers in House Jarasco working effectively with the Mafia. So it gets a little bit dicey when you start asking around House Jarasco stuff. Most of them are pretty, open to things, but you can tell that they're hiding, not necessarily hiding, but they're, a little hesitant to give out too much information. Whether or not they are directly affiliated with anyone Boromar related, but just in case. It's sort of more of a living in fear kind of situation. So Cornelius and Spike, which of you two wants to speak with House Jarasco? Which actually works out, you two being sort of more lower city Boromar connections.
I can talk to them. I'll talk to them.
Okay.
All
so
right.
Go and make me a persuasion check.
Okie dokie. Oh god, first roll.
First roll is 20? No, we've already played. I think.
21. 11 plus 10.
Nice.
Okay. So immediately they speak of the destruction of their healing house in Death's Gate. And of course they ask you all if you've come to any conclusions about who did it. Cornelius and Oleg, would you tell them anything or say you're still investigating?
You just want the explosion, right?
Yeah.
I would tell them, essentially, I would just tell them that we're still investigating. Be like, we're working on some leads, nothing concrete yet, but we're just making sure we're covering all bases by talking to anybody who might be in danger at the time. Just keep your eyes out, keep your ears open, and we're working on the details from there.
Okay.
We have some leads, we're following up on them, we're going to see if they lead anywhere.
So, you warn them about some potential threats and potential dangers that might come to their house. And they mentioned that they'll have some, especially after the explosion, they're going to have some increased security around their healing houses, and especially like making sure they get proper criteria and credentials from any visitors. Seeing as how someone just played Cornelius and walked right in, and essentially said, "I'm a detective," and you got a pass to go in. So they're going to beef up their security some, and then as far as members of House Durasco in the Aurum, in Sharn, there are not any. They don't really have any interest in ancient artifacts and history from across the world.
Is the Aurum a continent-spanning organization?
More or less. I mean, they don't extend, like... Because there are certain continents, or not continents, like nations that have, like, were destroyed during the last war, like Sire. Like, the Aurum doesn't have, like, a base there, really. But some other big cities, like in Maror Holds, the Dwarven nation, there would be, like, an Aurum chapter, an Aurum group there. But as far as spanning continents, they don't necessarily have, like, bases or anything in other continents, but they do frequently travel around to, or not them specifically, they hire out people to go to other continents and gather artifacts and whatever else.
Okay.
So in a way they do, but as far as, like, concrete, like, places of operation, mostly in just bigger cities, bigger civilizations.
Okay.
Yeah. And so in Sharn specifically, there are no House Durasco members who have really taken an interest in the Aurum. And then lastly, you make your way to the House of Hospitality, which you have had a run-in before at Galanda Hall, House Galanda. I believe, let me double check my lore here. Would you believe I don't have it all memorized? I don't know, how
Doesn't
dare
have
I?
the whole Eberron book memorized?
So,
Shameful.
with your connections, House Galanda operates in a lot of Sharn because it's another halfling family. However, they have married somewhat into Boromar clan, but not nearly as much. But they own most of the inns and taverns, basically around the world, mostly in Sharn. They are all about making people feel at home and providing drinks and food and making sure everyone's safe and all that kind of stuff. And if you recall, in one of your first investigations, you had stayed at Galanda Hall. Some of you did. And it's just an act of good faith and good favor. The halfling dragon-marked bartender had given you some good berries for the road. So they're very, giving and charitable. And so, Spike, if you would like to make your persuasion check.
All right. Well, good thing I got inspiration because I'm gonna use that real quick. That's more like it. I got 17.
Hell yeah.
17. Okay. So, you walk around, and you visit, Galanda Hall. You visit Talento Plains, which kind of catches you off guard a little bit, but it being sort of a, or not visit Talento Plains. You visit Little Plains, which is a little home for Talenta halflings. You kind of pop back through there again, visit some of the inns, and of course, during all of your stops, you are all given food, you're given drink, and it's all delicious. It's all so filling and warms you up. They toss a few good berries your way on occasion. They offer, rooms to stay for the night, all sorts of stuff. So effectively, we'll say, as you're visiting House Galanda members, you gain the benefits of a short rest, so you can regain some hit points or spell slots, whatever else, because of all the good food and good drink and relaxing, and just the warmth and community you feel from them.
Too
but
kind.
you warned them about potential dangers that come to their house. You can tell that the people you talk to, they hear you, but they don't. They think it's sort of a fluke. They kind of, you can tell that they think like, oh, we're just here to, we run some inns. We're here to make sure people are comfortable and happy. Like, we're fine. But thank you for the warning, but we'll be okay. So you warned them and they hear it and they might remember it, but they seem to think that they're immune to that kind of stuff. And as far as members of the Aurum, let me see here. There it is. There are 2 members of the Aurum in House Galanda. One's name is Myrtle, and she is dragon marked, so Myrtle de Galanda.
I love that name.
Myrtle.
Myrtle de Galanda.
Yeah, and the other one is Tolman, not Toland, Tolman. Tolman. Tolman de Galanda.
I thought you were about to tell me my cat was making a cameo.
Not yet. He's the big bad. Tolan's the
Yeah.
killer.
That sounds about right, actually. He's the final boss of my life. He is my big bad.
Yeah. And
IRL.
Upon learning about these people, they mostly both they help with housing for whenever the Aurum travels anywhere, or whenever they send people places and things like that. So they don't really have too much of a hand in the gathering of artifacts. They're more about the accommodations of journeys and trips and whatever else. Are there any questions or anything you would like to... Any last things you want to ask? Any of the houses or things you want to throw out there? Anybody?
Did we get names for people in the last house, or did they just say like, nah, we don't know anything?
Well, they don't have any active
Okay.
members in
Sorry.
the Aurum.
That's
In
all I
Sharn,
missed
at
it.
least. Yeah. Any other questions? Comments? Xavier or Spike as the person who led that, is there anything you would like to make known?
I want to make them take me serious, but I don't know how to do that without threatening to shoot them. So
Yeah, in any moment that you start to get like a little frustrated whenever they're kind of like brushing off this threat of danger, and you start to like, it starts to grind your gears literally, and you start to say something, they immediately like you know, they put, you know, a mug of beer in front of you. They put down a plate of good food. They offer you a blanket. Some old lady halfling knits you a beanie and puts it on top of your cowboy hat. Like, all, like, any moment that you start to get, like, frustrated and angry, it's immediately, like, pushed away with hospitality.
Well, dang, they know how to treat me right. Well, is there any way I can leave, get like a calling card or a sending stone from one of them to keep in contact?
Ooh. Interesting. Make one last persuasion check, 'cause that's an interesting request.
That is an unnatural 20.
A dirty 20.
Dirty 20. It's filthy.
That is a filthy 20.
Disgusting.
I get
Disgusting.
disgusting.
Yo, shout out to Rachel.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Shout outs indeed.
There it is. So
Thank you, Mod.
yes, thank you,
Boom mod.
Travis. Those fighting words.
Everybody drag Travis in the chat.
Travis, I'll ban you.
So, Xavier with a 20. Let's see if I actually wrote this down 5 ever. I'm having to look at like some of the first pages of my little Eberron notebook. So I don't
How did
think I...
Hospitalis react to the warning again?
Can it be Yaga? Can I have Yaga's?
I was trying to remember if because I'm pretty sure Iago was not like the owner of Galanda Hall, but you can absolutely like get a set of sending stones and give one to Iago. This is just a little halfling bartender at Galanda Hall. So yes, you have Iago's phone number now, and you can call him up with the sending stone.
Iago.
Listen, being friends with the bartender is incredible. You get
Yes.
discount on drinks.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful time.
Yeah, and you give him the sending stone. You tell him you'll be in touch and stuff. He casts Goodberry for the road, so he gives you 10 good berries to do with what you'd like.
Yaga.
My man. So you kind of regroup back at the Sky Coach. The rain's still coming down. Now this is about to be fun. Because this is Xavier's Something Happens. And it's about to start paying off. You know, prestidigitation, cleaning yourself off, but the constant traveling for 2 hours in the rain, going at relatively high speeds. I'd like everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
Not a high, it's not high, not a high bar.
Alright.
You got a 17?
17,
I got a 19.
19. Did anyone get below a 10?
Yeah.
I rolled a natural 1, so
Oh.
a 2.
Carson, did you get below a 10?
I got an 8.
I was gonna say, because you have like a high con save,
I
right?
have a +4 to my con, but it doesn't matter much if I roll a 4.
So, both of you, you're doing your best with basic magic to keep yourselves dry, keep, like, just trying to stave off the wind and wet rain. And eventually, like, your wet clothes start to sag onto you, start chafing. And it's just, it's not a fun trip. And effectively, you have 1 point of exhaustion.
Great.
Cool.
And at this
I
point,
hate
Spike
it.
returns. Spike's looking good. He has a healthy metallic glow. He has a hand of good berries, and both Cornelius and Varian look noticeably irritated and unhappy.
Let's munch it on the good berries. Y'all all right? Y'all good?
Fine.
Yep, great.
Just
Doing
fine.
just great.
I say as my big wet hair flops into my face.
You cast prestidigitation, it kind of like floats up, but it just like keeps sagging back.
You can see Cornelius with a now soaked cigarette behind his ear, just like looking displeased that he can't smoke right now.
Ew. But at this point, Varian, in one way or another, I've never really established how checking time works in Everon, but we just kind of say check the time, and it's almost time for your meeting with your advisor.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm Oleg. Can you drop me back by Morgrave?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'll have time to grab a espresso on the way.
So, you get dropped off, you go grab some coffee and go to your advisor meeting, and the rest of you go to try and meet Keena Button, right? Or do you guys want to wait on Varian?
Might as well go
Yeah,
save
like a
How long's the advising meeting?
It was not indicated in the note.
Sounds like a trap. I'm going anyway.
You just it just said that there was a visitor and providing an interesting opportunity for you.
Can I wait for Varian?
Sure. Anyone else want to wait for Varian? As we split the party?
I'm going to be. I'm going to definitely be with Varian, right? I mean,
And then
Well,
So who is going to
Why don't we
drive
just
this
wait on
truck?
it? Let's just wait on it.
All right, so you all wait on Varian.
Yeah.
As
As is acting bodyguard, I feel entitled to wait for Varian. Like
same. Yeah.
it's part of the role.
Thank you all.
So you all grab.
What a touching yet weird group we have.
Yeah,
here.
it's
I
so
love
weird.
it.
So you all go grab some coffee and wait on
Yeah, I'll
Varian.
direct them to the campus coffee shop.
Hey, Logan.
Yes.
I just thought about something because I was like thinking the like weird group and everything, and I was like, oh, hey, Squinch. Last time we played, I asked Squinch to go steal our money back.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, technically their money back because mine didn't get stolen because I noticed. But did he steal that money back?
Roll a dexterity check for Squinch, and I'm gonna go toilet cat super quick.
Do it.
Toilet cat. Toilet cat.
Okay. He's got a good dex mod. He's got a good dex mod.
If he's going
Maybe
to toilet cat, I'm going to toilet cat.
Wow.
Yeah,
Let's
probably.
take a toilet cat break. Everybody get up, stretch, hydrate, and relieve yourselves.
I'm not
This
gonna
is
do
not
it just
an
because you
option.
told me to.
That's the spirit.
Well, yeah, piss yourself for all I care.
You can't say
y'all
that
are
on Twitch.
there too.
Banned.
Banned. Okay.
Wish I could see Cat Jam on stream right now. It would make me happy. But I cannot. Oh, and to answer that for you, Nobushi Nueve, don't. Eat, please.
Glad I came back to everyone being gone.
Yeah, I was gonna get up too, and then I didn't. So, here I am.
All
Just
right.
chilling. Why is it not letting me gamble anymore? Let me gamble my life savings.
Oh, I guess
please.
it finally turned off. I don't
Did it?
know. I guess. I don't know.
It was working like literally 5 minutes. See, it was.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
it's because I don't have 10,000 left. Wait, but what? I gambled earlier and it didn't do anything. Unless.
Unless.
Oh, okay. It finally. It was okay. All right. I got this. Are you ready?
Oh, we have a posture check this minute. Gotta do that.
I wonder if I can gamble again for 10 grand. Oh well.
There might be a limit to how much you can gamble.
Oh, you did a stretch thing. I guess I should get up and stretch then.
Alright, I guess we're all gonna take a quick, quick 2.
Something. I mean, they left like a minute or so ago.
Alright, I'm gonna grab a refill and be right back then.
Okay. There. Good stretch. Chewing a Jolly Rancher? Oh boy. Ah. Let's gamble my life savings again. Damn.
What's up, everybody? Hey, chat, I hope you guys are enjoying the session where we take a little bathroom break. Be sure to use your teams if you want to make special things happen during the game. Yeah, it's like a flashback or a something happens. It's like a little random event that may take place. Yeah. And be sure to show our DM Logan some love if you haven't already. Go ahead, follow the channel. And also, there's this little thing. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have something called Prime Gaming, and you can subscribe to Logan's channel for free with your Prime Gaming. Yes, you can. So be sure to show Logan some love. Give him a follow. Give him a subscribe. And if you've already done both of those, just give him a little heart in chat.
Yeah. And also, thank you, Nobushi Nwebe, for gifting out a sub.
Third total.
Nice.
I gotta say, Nobushi Ueve, I read that comment and thought he said something about pulling teeth out of Jolly Ranchers.
Oh,
I did too. I'm not gonna lie. I misread that shit first too.
That's 100% on us.
When I was in second grade, I lost a tooth while eating a plum.
Oh.
It just I didn't even notice. It just suddenly there was a tooth wrapped up in plum skin, and I was like,
It's like
that was made so much worse by you saying a tooth
scorpion
wrapped up in plum skin.
Yeah.
That was so much worse.
You're welcome.
It's a little present. Santa Claus leaves it so carefully under your Christmas tree, and you're just like, oh, it's teeth.
There was no blood, there was no pain.
I've had that happen
it was just
before,
I
too.
was eating a plum, and then suddenly I realized that there was no longer a tooth in my mouth, and I was like, huh.
It's like it's like one of those lollipops with a scorpion inside, except it's a tooth.
Y'all need to stop.
Yeah, I'm horrified.
You're welcome. It's not the worst way I've lost a tooth, I promise.
I don't want to hear anymore about that.
Done.
Dunzo.
And we're done with tooth talk.
What's our
Tooth talk? It's like the dentistry side of TikTok. Tooth talk.
Where's our stream up top?
You're canceled. You're not allowed to talk anymore.
That was actually a great time for a break.
Again? I know we just got back from one.
Well,
but
let's take
time for
another one. Let's take another 15.
Time to recover from that.
No, I think listen to Steve-O talk about. Nope, I'm good. I do not want to hear that ever.
No.
I'm good.
I don't want to listen to Steve talk about any of that shit.
No, gross.
Because it's infinitely worse than any story I probably have.
I've heard Steve.
Except for that one. No, I'm not.
Yeah, just hearing Steve-O talk, period. But
Hey guys, it's Steve-O.
Hey, it's Steve-O. Oh god, what the fuck was I about to say? But we also happen to need to take a break at like our halfway mark, which is pretty good. We're kind of getting in a routine, we're in a rhythm. So, Austin, you made a dexterity check to see if Squinch stole the stuff back.
13.
13. Austin, go ahead and roll. 2d6 for me.
3. Real lucky tonight, guys. A 1 and a 2. Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. I'm retiring all of my dice from now on. I'm just gonna replace all of them.
I don't know what to do with the captions. I'm sorry. I don't know. So, Squinch arrives back at some point. Probably, we'll say he came back before you took your trip around to visit all the houses. He's a small little guy. So he comes back with a pouch of gold. You would probably notice it is not Oleg's pouch. It is not Wendeline's pouch.
You tried, buddy. That's all I
Yeah.
can ask sometimes.
Yeah, like Wendeline's is made out of like a dark cloth fabric. Oleg's is probably like, silk and his house colors. This one's like burlap. Like
Just
it is.
one?
It's yes, Wendeline.
Just one.
Yeah, just one pouch. And when you open it up, there's gold in it. You start counting out 30 gold, and a ring.
Oh?
You pop the ring out. It is a very simple silver band.
It's not like a because I know some people like gold bands, yeah, but it's not like a wedding ring, is it? It's not like somebody's wedding band.
You start looking, and there is an inscription along the inside of it.
Oh no.
Make an Arcana check for me.
Oh crap. That's the thing I'm not good at. 10.
It's a magical ring.
Cool, it's mine. Fuck, it's mine now. I'll just toss the I'll just hand the pouch to or go over to Oleg and Wendeline and just go. This is all Squinch brought back. It's like 30 gold. Sorry, your stuff got stolen.
Do
you wanna
I appreciate it.
Split
Yeah,
this?
yeah, sure. I will just give you the gold. I'll give you the 30 gold. I'll say, here you go. I don't know. I mean, how much did you lose?
I would have lost 144 gold.
Yeah, go ahead and take that. That's fine. Yeah.
That's why you keep your shit in the inside pocket of your jacket. Even then, it's not really that.
Still, not with those little halfling kids running around. Like,
lol, can they even reach the inside pocket of my jacket? Ew.
they find a way. So I'm keeping this pretty vanilla for this something happens. So Varian, you and everyone, you go grab some coffee in the Student Union of Moorgrave. The rest of you, as you go to sit down, Varian goes off to his meeting. You all look out the window, and the rain starts to let up some. And the sun starts to come out. And gradually it becomes a very beautiful day in Sharn. But, Cornelius, your mood starts to lighten a bit with the sun coming back out, peeking through the clouds. You start to, the coffee hits your system. You start to dry off. You start to feel a bit better. But you start to notice that like lingering gut, like instinct of like suspicion, like something bad's gonna happen. It's still there. And you realize it's not really gone away. You've been distracted and forgotten about it, but it's still there once everything kind of settles and stops.
So, okay. Follow me here, I guess? So any way that I can, like... Not to sound like one of those people. Is there any way I can tune into that? Like there's this like natural gut feeling that I'm feeling that something doesn't feel right. And I feel like Cornelius knows enough about himself to while he doesn't fully understand how some of this stuff works for him, like how he just does this stuff. Doesn't always understand the details of it, but he just knows that weird stuff happens and that he's capable of experiencing things that other people might not necessarily be able to. If there's a way for him to kind of like tap into it and see if there's anything more that he can get from it, if it's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Make a wisdom check. Make a wisdom check.
Oh, wisdom check. Oh boy. Hey, I might actually be okay at that. 9. I hate my dice.
You just feel kind
I've
of
rolled
uneasy.
almost every d20 I have, and they've all betrayed me.
I mean, the coffee's fine. The weather's good now. I mean, you can see, like, Oleg and Wendeline are a little off, having their gold taken. But that's probably not it. And it's just, you just feel off. So as you guys wait on Varian, Varian, you go find your advisor's office, which you've been to plenty of times. In the, like, magical research tower of Moorgrave, you get into the lift and make your way up. And your advisor, Ludwig Trinowith, he's no archmage, he's no, expert evocation wizard or anything. He's just a spellcaster. He has more of a passion for the advising and teaching as opposed to the learning and research of things. He's not necessarily older, middle-aged, kind of gotten a bit frumpy, kind of gotten comfortable as an advisor, and your relationship with him is, it is what it is. And as far as your internship goes, he's been very hands-off with it, and kind of let you dictate your internship task. And as you reach his office, you knock on the door, he calls you in. In his office, it's laid out very similar to many of the others in the towers, built very similarly. His is a little more cramped, it seems. Whether that's the actual layout of the room, or because there's an extra person here. So you see Ludwig Trinowith, this kind of frumpy-robed mage, balding head, liver spots, not necessarily wrinkled, but just kind of sagging features, kind of mousy, beady eyes. He stands up, and another figure sitting across from their desk also stands up. The first thing you notice is House Madani attire. You see the colors and symbols across very nice leathers and armor. The figure has darker, more almond skin, kind of like you do, but with like black hair that is pulled into a very tight bun. No loose hairs in sight. A little bit sharper features. And they both stand up and greet you. And Ludwig says, Varian, thank you for being here today. I know it was a bit of a odd message, but it's not very often we get such a special visitor. This is Gavathian de Madani. And this woman, she sticks out her hand, and you see a dragon mark across her palm. And she reaches out to shake your hand.
I accept it. Say, pleasure to meet you.
Says, the pleasure is all mine. I'm going to cut to the chase, Varian. We've heard a lot about you.
Okay.
And she says we, and you start to look at her symbols a little bit more. And you notice that she's not just House Madani. She is with the House Madani Warning Guild. So just like how the mercenary guilds typically have a house that they affiliate with, House Madani also has a guild that they join to protect people, and they're, rather than hiring out as mercenaries, they hire out as sort of like preemptive protection.
Okay.
And
so is this person half elf?
yes.
Okay, and they have Madani features.
Yes.
Okay.
She says, over the past few months, we've heard a bit of your exploits as then she looks at your advisor and then turns back to you. A bit of a detective.
Could say that, I suppose.
And I, of course, as the Warning Guild does, did a bit of snooping and found out that you were part of an internship on behalf of Ludwig here, and he just kind of like, nervously nods his head. He says, and it it frustrates me a bit that he did not contact your own house's Warning Guild for your internship. And he kind of shrivels up just a little bit.
I just kind of look at him to see what I should glance at him to see what I should be preparing myself for.
And he looks back at you, and he seems to jump the gun a little bit. He says, like, Varian, yeah, I didn't really think too far outside of. I didn't really expect. I know you love your family, and he just keeps like starting anew and anew again. And she says, "What I've come here to do, we followed your journey a little bit, and you're skilled.
Thank you.
And we of the Warning Guild we would like to transfer your internship to the Warning Guild."
Sorry, this is a lot of process. What exactly would that mean?
You would get to work alongside some of House Madani's finest investigators, finest protectors, and finest spellcasters. I mean, you can hire a mercenary off the street for a few gold pieces, but a House Madani agent and a Warning Guild agent specifically, they are some of the highest tier protectors anyone can afford, and I think the opportunity to learn side by side with your own family and some of the most skilled in the business, that's just and she turns back to your advisor. It's a very amazing opportunity that I'm surprised was not mentioned sooner. Comes back. And then your advisor jumps back in and he says, "Well, Varian, I knew you wouldn't want to. You just started your grad program, and I know I figured you didn't want to leave the city, leave the nation, leave the country.
Would this take me out of Sharn? Out of what's the name of the nation again?
Breland.
Out of Breland."
She nods and says, "Yes. In fact, it would take you to the nation of Rote. It's not too far away, and you would know Rote is one of the neighboring nations. So it's not, obscenely far, but it's, still a different place." She says, "So yes, and it wouldn't be permanent necessarily, just long enough for you to fulfill any internship requirements for Moorgrave, and honestly, that could land you a really good position in the Warning Guild. You could be set."
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking interest in me. This is a very generous offer. I have to admit. I'm sorry you've caught me a bit unawares. It's been a long day. I must share. I'm in the midst of a very important investigation at present. Can I can I get back with you once we've wrapped it up? I would. I'm sure my father would be very proud to know I was offered this, and I feel I need to give it the proper consideration and such generous offer requires.
Yes, and I would love for you to strongly consider this.
Of course. The reputation of the Warning Guild precedes itself.
I will say, however, currently, I mean, there are other young people just like yourselves who are,
Of course,
marked and are interested in such a position. How soon could you give us an answer?
What day of the week is it?
That's a great question. Let me scroll back up to the last session's notes.
Thursday.
Yes, it is Thursday. Thank you, Alan. It's effectively Thursday.
Yeah, would you mind if we met back up, say this coming Monday?
Of course. Perfect.
That would be that'd be wonderful. Hopefully, me and my companions will have another one in the books by then.
Sure. And so you are aware of all aspects of this. Of course, any expenses are covered by House Madani, so it will not cost you anything to move to Rote, to participate and outfit yourself with anything you might need, any training, and you'll be well taken care of. Do you have any other questions before you head out?
Logan question: how much longer my internship do I have?
It is
like, is it a semester long thing roughly?
I cannot remember. What did we say? Like how long were you into your grad program? I remember texting you about it, and I do not remember.
I don't know, maybe a year or two at most. Oh. And I mean, I'm probably going on like the equivalent of a doctorate track. Yeah. So
we'll say a year. We'll say a full year for the internship. Yeah.
Okay.
And currently, right now, you basically just finished up like midterm season, so you're in like the second half of spring semester.
Okay. I suppose just generally what kind of work would I be doing over there? Yeah, I mean, and I've obviously taken evocation courses and can handle myself in a scuffle, but my skills are more geared towards divination and
that's exactly what we do in the Warning Guild. All these mercenaries, they are hired to protect in the moment. We're hired to keep any scuffles from happening in the first place. If there is a diplomat heading from point A to point B, and there is a scuffle or something supposed to happen on the road, we'll make sure they don't even take that road. So we'll be really harnessing all of your divining skills.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right up my alley. Did you see the redeemed flashback?
Oh no, I just saw it. Oh.
Okay, do you want to give me a prompt, or you want me to freestyle this bad boy?
That's up to you. Do you have an idea?
I had an inkling of an idea. It just, like, I guess for everybody watching, I imagine D&D in my mind very cinematically with like it cuts and montage and whatnot. And I'm just kind of imagining another less piss related montage is of over the years as just like again and again from early childhood through adolescence, awkward teen years into awkward 20s to awkward mid 20s is it just Varian's dad and like impressing upon him it's just you have been gifted with incredible power and it is your duty, your responsibility to use that power for the betterment of the house, of the family above everything. And we just being like, okay, Dad. Yeah, and Varian's just like flashing back through all these things, and it's like, just is at like cousins, like graduations, like I don't know, him getting like an A- on something, and his dad being like, Varian, we need to have a serious talk. Like graduation, dad just coming like stone faced and just like giving me a curt nod, and I'm just like thinking on all of this is it's just like I'm not even like really consciously engaging with whether I want this. It's just like I think my dad would want this. And I think that means I need to do it. And like, I don't know, I guess thinking that in the moment and just the spark of analyzing that on a meta level going forward as we just shoot back into the present.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of like regain focus, making eye contact with the basilisk eye that marks the House Madani. And then you kind of like look back up at this woman, and she says, "Well, I'll be heading back to Rote tomorrow morning. Says if you need me, I'll be staying in the University District at one of the local inns." And she gives you, inn and room number, things like that. So if you had more questions, feel free to reach out.
Of course. Thank you once again for this. This is incredibly generous offer.
Of course. And if you don't mind, I'm going to continue speaking with your advisor. And lots of paperwork to go into. Internship transfer, I want to make sure all bases are covered if you decide to make the switch.
Of course. Thank you very much. And good day, Professor Chenoweth.
He nods his head, and she shakes your hand one last time, and you head back out.
Yeah. To address Nobushi Nueve's very poignant question, does Varian think he deserves it? That's a really good question. I don't think Varian necessarily thinks of opportunities as or such in terms of if he deserves it, from like an individualist mindset, but more just like, what's my dad gonna say if I don't take this?
Woo! Amazing. And Carson, did you get her name in case you want to find her again?
Gavathian de Madani?
Yes. Okay. So, you walk back out to the courtyard. I imagine you guys, once the sun came out, you probably moved outside to enjoy the little bit nicer weather. How does Varian look as he is approaching this group and seeing his friends standing there talking?
Kind of glassy-eyed. Just, yeah, kind of like, when you finish a long shift and you get in the car to drive home, and then you're in your driveway and you don't remember like any of the trip there.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like that.
You even forgot to turn on music on the way home.
Yeah.
You drive in silence for 10 minutes.
Exactly. He's just like retreated within himself so much. Yeah, it's because of these conflicting forces. And I will say, like, in the past few months and working with everybody with the investigative agency, he's like started to, I guess, start acting and thinking for himself, if only slightly, but it's just like that adds even more to the dissonance, and it's where he's just like, fuck. Yeah.
And so I imagine any of you who have even any bonus +1 or higher to wisdom, you'd probably immediately spot this kind of distance in Varian as he approaches.
You okay, kid?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just wanted to talk about term paper. Let's.
Do I believe him?
Make a deception and insight check.
All right. Deception.
Mhm.
Dirty 20.
Ooh, 23.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Do with that what you will.
I make a mental note. But sometimes people lie for good reason.
Put
Plus,
my
that was a
hand-
good lie. He kept it short.
You know, say less.
Yeah.
He finally listened.
I'm sorry for holding everybody. Let's go talk to Keena Budden then. Did everybody get some coffee?
I got a latte.
Get dry.
Yeah, what's
good.
everyone's like coffee flavor preference?
Mocha latte. Mocha latte.
Wendeline's a mocha latte.
Like a red eye shot. Something with like the most caffeine possible.
Varian's is extremely fussy, but with like equal or more caffeine to Donovan's.
Like you
It's
get
like-
a really like sugary drink, but then you add like 6 shots of espresso
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. It's like 6 shots of espresso. Drown it in vanilla and caramel.
Jesus Christ. Oh god.
It's like making a mixed drink where
Muffin
it's like
optional.
8 shots of vodka
Yeah.
and also like 4 ounces of simple syrup, and that's it. Like,
God. Oh my god. Yeah, Cornelius is a class B black coffee kind of guy, where it's like it's very hot and also probably could classify as sludge if it got any colder. So the bad kind of coffee.
it gets thicker as it gets colder. Like congeals up.
That is a joke from a book I read once when I was younger. It's like class A coffee was the kind that like burns your insides, and class B coffee was the kind that turns to sludge when it cools down.
That's so gross.
So
What does Spike get at the coffee shop?
Well, since I can't taste anything,
Yep.
if I need something quick, I'll just get black coffee. But if I want to experiment a little bit, I like to order off the secret menu.
all right.
See if I can find something that can activate the taste buds. But unfortunately, nothing has quite hit yet.
Yep. I'm trying to think of what horrid thing Like so
that unicorn thing from Starbucks.
Oh yeah, I
Oh
remember that.
God.
Spike has like rainbow colored like whipped cream across like his upper metallic lip.
Yeah.
Still tastes nothing. Nothing there.
Has sugar crystallized on his lips. And what's Oleg's coffee shop drink of choice?
Chai tea with a side of espresso.
With a side, as
Like a
in
side, like
chai
an
tea
extra
and
shot.
an espresso.
Side shot.
Travis,
Like an extra shot of espresso.
Travis, do you remember the
He likes to
Americano
pour the
challenge?
espresso in himself.
No, I do not remember the.
I know what you're
Americano
talking
challenge.
about.
Flo's Americano challenge.
I do not.
You get the spiciest curry at Chata Thai,
Oh,
and
yes,
then you
that's
go
right.
drink a full
Oh,
Americano and see how long you last.
Oh, you smoke a cigarette on the way back to the music
Yep.
building.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very specific.
But
It was very
Flo
specific. I
was-
do remember that.
That's
yeah.
also very
Flo was a
visceral.
monster.
Like that's such like a I know those things. Like what?
I mean, unfortunately, nobody will anymore, considering Chata Thai
Chata
is
Thai
now
is gone.
closed.
Rip.
So
My heart.
the six of you make your way with your coffees, getting any refills, head back to the Sky Coach outside of campus, and begin the rest of your evening tracking down any Aurum contacts who knows where Keenan Button lives. That's really not too difficult. You have plenty of contacts. You could even have asked Rathel Vidalis while you were visiting her. And so, I didn't like that grin that Travis just had while he was typing. Easily you can get Keena Button's address. You all fly around the city, and at this point, by the time Varian's meeting is done, you get your coffee, you make it to the Sky Coach, you start taking off. About 6 o'clock or so. You probably grab some food in the student union as well on your way out. Let me check. I can't remember all the names of the neighborhoods. To your surprise, most of the Aurum members, they're wealthy. They're typically scholars to some capacity, historians, well-to-do people. But when you get Keena Button's address, it's technically categorized in the lower city. It's in a nicer part of the lower city. Let me make sure. No, it's not Tavik's Landing. That's not what I'm thinking of. Yeah, so it's over near like the North Edge district, or North Edge quarter of the city, like the lower portion. So it's a little bit nicer in comparison to other parts of the lower city. And what you know about the lower North Edge is that the residential district you're going to is called the Stone Yard. And the Stone Yard is the primary, residence of many of the shifters of Sharn, the people who are believed sort of like lycanthropic descendants kind of thing. So it strikes you as a bit odd. Specifically because you uncovered that Keena Button was a gnome. She was a gnome woman. So it's odd that her address is in Stone Yard. But nonetheless, you make your way down there. And immediately you notice two things about the districts. This is probably a portion of the city that none of you really go to very often. Similar to Little Plains, it's very culturally centered. And similar to the Rattlestone district, it's very family and community oriented. So immediately as you guys step foot into the streets, people take notice of you because you all are not from here. You are not from this district. But the two things that catch your attention: there is a massive sports field that takes up near the center of this district. the three of you from Lower City, so Spike, Wendeline, Cornelius, make a history check for me.
Oh.
$22.
I got an 11.
9.
Wendeline. And you can determine how you know this. Something that is very popular amidst shifters, and specifically the shifters of this district of the Stone Yard. There is a sport that is very culturally significant to shifters called Hrajak. H-R-A-Z-H-A-K. Hrajak. Hrajak.
Cool.
And for meta, it's essentially rugby mixed with like parkour. Like it is all about like jumping, climbing, all sorts of stuff, but you're getting an item from point A to point B, trying to get into the other person's goal, but it's all sorts of, rather than just running around your opponents or crashing into them or pushing past them, they jump over each other, they climb over each other, they jump off of building walls, depending on where the field is located. Sometimes they set it up in like home games in the streets and do it that way, and push past civilians and throw dumpsters and trash cans and all sorts of crap. Sometimes there's more official and do like in a field with certain obstacles placed around. It is a huge touchstone in shifter culture in Sharn that they have these urban rugby matches set up around the streets. And so you immediately see that there is a large Hrajak field. It's a concrete field with all sorts of, obstacles placed in that has been set up. There's currently not a match going on, but it stands out amidst the towers and streets of Sharn. When you guys come in and land.
Ball from one place to the other?
Do what?
You're getting a ball?
It depends on, street games. It's just whatever they have on hand. That they'll say you have to get this from one end to the other. The more formal games typically use some kind of like relic or an idol, like a little statuette or like a rune inscribed golden orb, whatever, something special, something significant. So it just kind of depends.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 22, so Wendeline is now into sports.
She's a jock! She has a fantasy project team.
And she's like... she totally fangirls right now and just is like, oh my god, is that Hrajak? And immediately bolts to that field.
So
Wendeline is like, she's a pretty like athletic, person, and she tries to dabble in pretty much any competitive complex sport that she can. Hrajak, because it's usually played by shifters, not a lot of other people will play it, especially in Sharn, and she's always wanted to play it.
So you run over to like what am I thinking of? Like the Bank of America Stadium of Hrajak. And run over. It's totally deserted and empty, but you're fangirling. Everyone else, what do you do?
Where's Wendeline going? Same
There's never really any telling, huh?
I'm like testing the field out, like going through all the obstacles and whatever on there.
She's swinging on that on that bar.
I'm just not gonna question it. I'm just not gonna question it.
That's running on a hamster wheel? What?
For what little time I have known Wendeline, this seems par for the course. I'm just gonna let it be.
I don't know why I'm surprised.
Guys, come here. and I'm like doing shit. I don't know.
Sure, I'll come over.
I mean, I guess peanut
don't-
butter department is that way.
I'm not dexterous or strong, so I'll come over. Why not? I'll be a bowling ball.
And basically, Wendeline just like super quickly, just like adrenaline rushing through her whole system, is trying to explain like bits and pieces of what she knows about the game. And there's like spots that like are very unclear, partly because she, hasn't actually played a game of it herself. But also like she's so excited, she's skipping through things and trying to tell you guys like, all these everything at once. And then eventually she's like, okay, cool, let's do a 3v3 right now.
Wait, aren't there already people playing on this place?
It's empty right now.
Oh, it's empty. I'm
do
sorry.
it.
Yeah, sure,
Let's do it.
whatever. I don't know how to
What?
do I shoot things?
I hate
Like,
to
what
be
do I?
that guy. Murders? Solving a
Right.
case? We can come back here
Got a
later.
point.
We know where it is now.
I mean, what do we? I mean, we. It's not like we're catching this. It's been like a day.
We don't really
And
have
Rajak
time
is
for this.
here.
Yeah, but I mean, we should wrap this up as soon as possible, right? Like before
Well,
Monday, obviously.
It's just been a very. What do you mean before Monday? Why does it matter before Monday?
The sooner we do
I mean-
this, the less likely somebody is to get hurt. As I kind of
Yeah,
like
exactly.
shut
It's
in.
been
Yeah,
a-
there's
it's
gonna
been a
be a
very
game
rough-
here on Monday, and so we need to play this before they use the field on Monday.
Is that
We're
true?
not gonna play a game in the middle of a murder investigation. What if somebody dies? Let's come back. We can
It
come
seems
back
like-
and do
you know,
this
it-
later.
You
Is it
told
the
me
shirt
you,
or skin situation? I need to know.
you don't have skins.
Wendeline,
I need to know.
I don't.
Wendeline, I want you to look at me and tell me, have I ever played a sport before?
No, but you will.
Let me.
That
I
is
don't-
ominously inspirational.
Wendeline
right?
stares into Varian's soul as she
I
says,
feel like you
"You
have to
will."
be.
When
you
I
have to be
was
some kind
4
of
years old,
dexterous.
I broke my arm brushing my teeth. Let's.
Okay,
Bro,
so
your
let's.
constitution is a what now again?
So
My
high.
God, if I. My.
You would have never
Expected
made it
not.
before.
Oh, my God.
It doesn't. I mean, look. Here's the thing, right? We should have a break. It's been a hard couple of days. Like a really hard. We've done a
We
lot.
literally just had a break like yesterday.
Well, no, we didn't. What do you mean a break? I worked the whole fucking time.
We're not gonna
Literally, I woke up.
freaking play a
I had
game
a big
in the middle of
breakfast.
No, we can come back.
That's
this
fine.
this
You
field
stay
is
over
not
there.
going
You
anywhere.
stay
Oh,
over
wait.
there. That's
I
fine.
know what it is. I know what it is, Oleg.
What's it?
Donovan's scared he's gonna lose.
He's not
I
I
scared. He
probably
knows he's
would.
gonna
I don't
lose.
play sports either.
He's a little chicken
fine.
boy. Got like
There's little chicken boy.
over here, He's
We
scared
can-
to lose the game.
It's fine. We don't. You don't have to be the last one to pick. We can pick Varian last.
Okay, I'm gonna go talk to this person. You guys can waste time. I'm leaving now.
Bark,
Okay.
bark, bark, chicken boy. Come on, come play the game, chicken boy.
Wait a minute. Are you walking
Giving me
away
really
from me?
bad flashbacks.
Are you walking away?
Yep. Bye.
Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna go solve a murder now. Bye.
I'm gonna. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that. That'd be such a waste of a second level spell.
You're gonna hold person.
I am gonna go with Donovan.
Uh,
And I will follow that.
Okay, so how do we do this like 2v2? We have Varian still.
By the way, Nagishi did a Something Happens. I don't know if you saw that, Logan.
Oh shit! No, I did
Well,
not.
something's already happened. It's called not solving a murder.
That's why I had that look that I gave that you screenshotted that one time where I was just like, because I saw that something happened. And I was like, oh no.
So usually what I do whenever I roll these something happens is I roll 2 d20s and I give myself 2 options to kind of pick from just because sometimes it doesn't work with the scenario. But this time I rolled the same number.
Oh no. That means that it has to happen, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what I figured. I don't like the way you said uh-huh.
Okay, so Donovan, Cornelius, you both walk on to find Keena Button's address. The other four of you stay and play a game. Little pickup game.
Squinches with it.
I was just watching from the sidelines, coffee
Nope.
in hand.
I literally force you on the field.
Oleg, no, please,
Yep.
please.
You just have to
too good.
look. I don't know how to play this game. I will stand in front of you, and you just pretend like you're doing something. Okay? You're basically a goalie. All right, that's all you have to do.
Look,
So the two teams take the field on either side.
Dragon marked versus undragon marked.
There it is. Yeah, there we go. So Oleg and Varian, pick something in your inventory that's like roughly like football size, sort of totem or like relic-esque. Just anything, and same for Wendeline and Spike. Pick some kind of like smaller item. If you have one in your inventory, or can make up one that you would have on you.
Question.
Yeah.
Never mind. I choose the Gem of Brightness.
So you place a big gem onto the concrete field.
It's not breakable. It's magical.
Yeah, it's magical. You're fine. Spike, Wendeline.
It's a wondrous item.
Yeah,
It's
there you
not
go.
real.
What's your item?
Ball size. Okay. I can wrap this potion of healing in some rope.
Jesus Christ. You can also just like make up something that you would possibly
I
have.
put a
on
water
you.
skin. I put a water skin in the middle for him.
It's like a little canteen of water. All right.
I wrap the water skin around the potion of healing with the
Oh
rope.
Don't play with the
God.
So you have a water skin, the Gem of Brightness. Typically, Project is played with 2 teams of 7, and you have 2 teams of 2. And the goal is for one team to get the other team's object and bring it back to their net, provided that your item is also still in your net, your goal. It's sort of like a capture the flag kind of thing.
Yeah.
You cannot. Wendeline, you would know this. Legally, in formal games, you cannot cast spells. You can only.
well then.
You can only like use your body and your movement. You can attack other people, but the only weapons allowed are natural weapons. For you guys, that's your fists. For shifters, that's claws and teeth, and whatever kind of animalistic parts they may have. But you can jump off of walls, you can climb over stuff, you can jump over each other, you can hit each other, you can grapple each other, you can do whatever you want. As long as it's you and not other special abilities. A typical bout usually takes about 5 minutes or so. Wendeline, you probably predict that this will take far less time to at least score the 1 point. So if the 4 of you would make either an acrobatics or athletics check.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, 22 athletics.
What the fuck?
16.
Okay.
That was athletic or acrobatics, by the way.
25
All right.
acrobatics.
Okay. So, I have a +1 to acrobatics. I have a -3 to athletics. Which would be funnier?
Whichever results in the lowest score.
Okay. 7 athletics.
Amazing. So Wendeline, okay, so I imagine like Wendeline's, the person on the field, the skirmisher running around. Spike's more playing a goalie position. Oleg, you put up a good fight. You were able to get past Spike at first, grab their water skin, and then you turn around and Spike just clotheslines you down to the ground. And by the time Varian, you even look up and figure out what's going on. Wendeline's
Yeah,
doing
I'm just
some
there, like with my arm, like.
just nervously like, oh god. Wendeline does some monk shit off the walls, grabs the gem of brightness, does more monk shit, cartwheels, jumps, leaps over people, scoops up the water
I
skin, and scores.
somersault over him and give him a kiss on the cheek as I'm passing by.
I don't know how to read this.
So, first point scored very quickly. I imagine the rest of the match kind of goes similarly. And then Wendeline, you're doing, your touchdown dance at the end at your goal, yelling and singing and dancing. And you feel the street beneath you kind of vibrate, rumble ever so slightly. And when you look up, you see that standing just a few, 10 feet away from you, you look up, and there is a Hrajak team standing there, wearing, effectively matching tank tops, and the person in the lead is some kind of bear person. They're not hairy by any means. They're hairy, but not furry, but, built like a fucking truck. Standing there with 6 other shifters. Seems to be a very formal project team. Wendeline, you're a big...
Do I recognize?
I'll say you're a big project fan. You recognize this bear person at the very front. And all you know about them is that they are a fucking tank on the field. They barrel through everybody. They're scary. And looking at him now, he is kind of scary. Shifter names are pretty simplistic from what you know. Typically taking some kind of trait of their animal parts. And this giant man, his name is Bear.
All that build up.
And he looks at you, dancing in your little end zone at your goal, and he and all the other shifters have this disgusted look on their faces as they're watching you 4 play on their field.
I embarrassingly wave. Hi, Bear.
He takes one step, the street just vibrates ever so slightly. Takes in a big breath, and then just booms to the point where Varian, you hear it at the opposite end, rubbing your arm. You hear him yell, "What the fuck are you doing on our field?"
Oh, wait, hold on.
Eric, may I suggest we beat a hasty retreat?
I don't know. I don't like whenever people... I mean, do you not want us to learn your sport? You seem passionate about it.
How far is he?
He's not far from you, Wendeline, probably a little farther from Oleg.
Okay.
And hearing Oleg say that, he starts to run forward.
Oh no.
Not run like he's about to just deck Oleg, but he starts coming toward him and say, "What did he just say?"
I said, do you not want to... you seem passionate about the sport. Do you not want other people to play it?
He gets right up on you, Oleg, and he's 7-8 feet tall, double your height.
Oleg doesn't care.
Yeah, he raises, flexes up his arms, leans down, and says, "You have to earn the right to play on our field."
Okay, how does one do? Do you just have to? Do you have to get good at the sport?
He flexes some more, and Wendeline, you could see at this point from behind, Bear's neck has disappeared. He's so tense, it's just muscle all over the back of his head. And he's just staring at Oleg. You have to show us you want to be here.
Oh, okay. Well, we
Wendeline
have.
is terrified
Oh, Nick.
and starts having a bit of a crush.
Unfortunately, we were just trying to learn a little bit, trying to learn a little bit. If you can point us to a better field. Obviously, we also have
Culture
a job.
exchange.
Yeah. We have a job to do. We have to solve a murder, but it's nice to get yelled at by some random individual.
I could teach you chess.
Oh,
He says the children play on that field over there.
All right, I'm not taking that. I'm not. You guys can be insulted as much as you want, but I'm not gonna sit here and get insulted. I roll up my duster sleeves and I say, "Listen here, Bucko, why don't you play us for the field?
I feel like he would win.
I want to play him.
You
We
want to lose.
win.
You would win.
We win. You don't play on this field ever again.
Don't.
You win. We'll leave. We'll be out of your hair. How about
We could just leave right now.
no? We fight.
I'll say bear. And I
It-
wait to make eye contact.
he-
with him.
He at this point he's so tense and flexing. He's just like a fucking like furry boulder on two legs. Like he is so like ready to explode. And he just barely turns his head, his eyes wide, pupils so small, and just looks at you, waiting.
Give us a chance to earn it. I puff my chest out as much as I can, which isn't much.
He says, "Fine!" He throws his bag on the ground, points at each of you, and says, "Game starts in 10.
Why do we have to wait 10 minutes? I feel
Let's
so
just hurry.
like
Let's huddle up and hurry.
We just got here. We need to stretch."
that's smart. Yeah, I'll start stretching myself.
Is that something
I
people
definitely
do?
didn't stretch beforehand. Don't really know anything about stretching.
Varian, I'm gonna need you to do some push-ups, a little bit of jumping jacks, a little something, get the blood pumping. All right.
I go to like do this and I dislocate my shoulder.
I
Like push it back in.
I help him
Please.
push it back in.
Oh, sorry, it does that sometimes. Is this really the best idea?
sure, why not?
Alright, we
I
need-
mean, if,
We need an offense and a defense.
okay. I don't know anything other than guns, so
So Oleg is offense.
And you see that there's one player that comes over. Bear starts lifting up like a nearby dumpster over his head to like get the blood flowing. And this kind of like literally mousy looking shifter, very small, comes over to you guys and says, traditionally you need 7 players for a team. Do you have anyone else you could?
no, we don't have anybody else. The other people were not happy with having fun.
Would you like us to find you some replacements?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe some people who are just as good as Bear.
There's no one as good as Bear.
Okay, we'll take the.
Fuck.
So we'll find some replacements. And
Thank
so,
you.
yeah, this mousy shifter player goes to find you an extra 3 players. And this is gonna be an interesting thing that we're about to do because we may do like a sort of half session. So like next week we'll do the game, and then another week do the other 2 people doing the investigation.
I don't remember who it was, but someone at the beginning was like, "Yeah, I'm really excited to solve this murder," and then he's like, "Wait,
But
what
this is
if we
fun.
don't?"
Hey, maybe these guys will provide us with the clue.
Yeah, maybe.
I like that
Honestly,
idea.
that would be the most wild
Hey,
twist. of
I'm
the
just
whole
saying,
thing.
these are shifters. We're getting contacts from shifters.
No, yeah.
We
so
need to find out about shifters.
similar to what I asked
In
about.
JRPGs, this is something known as a side quest.
Side quest. You get
The-
gold. Get some experience.
Yeah, we'll be
Sometimes
able
they
to
cycle
recruit
back.
Bear to the party after this.
Earn his respect.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you, the four of you, would you like to make this an event, or do you want to just like kind of narratively roll and we'll move along?
Probably not. You said that's going to be a tomorrow thing?
Well,
Or
what I
not-
was thinking
next-
was, we'll break this up into 2 sessions, and next week I just have like the 4 of you or just the 2 of them, to go on about their business and sort of have 2 separate sessions entirely.
I think to keep it fair, we should just do a narrative thing, just to keep it fair for the people that didn't want to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unless everyone else is feeling different.
Yeah, we can allow the party poopers to control the situation. That's fine.
Neither of us have said a word.
They just sit sitting there.
I've just been letting. I'm,
That's
like, I'm not gonna be the
the
person that's like, no, you can't have fun. So I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah, Varian might have objected, but not after that. After that meeting, he's just like, "Oh, Oleg, you say I have to do this thing? All right."
All right.
If I die,
Right,
I
right.
die, says Varian.
is-
I
Yeah.
don't have to choose.
What would our chat like?
Ooh.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
session
chat.
or 2 chat.
What time are we trying to wrap up tonight? Like, what would we do for the rest of the session? Are you speaking, Logan?
Logan, you are.
You're muted.
Oh, it's because I hit the shit out of my mic a second ago. I would probably say in the next few minutes, because we're almost at the 3-hour mark, which is usually our cutoff.
Why
We
don't
have one response from the chat in favor of doing the game.
Yeah, why don't next week we like, I mean, could we do a session or maybe like the 4 of us or the 2 of them show up
Early?
at 8:30 and then we dedicate like, I don't know, 30-45 minutes to doing one of these things, and then the other people come in and we meet back up.
Kind of like we did the last time where we had the 2 different groups.
Yeah. We could do like a 8 o'clock. You're right. Yeah, maybe 8 o'clock instead almost. No? Or 7:30? What about 6 in the morning?
Dude, I played a 7 in the morning session and I
Yep.
wanted to
Mhm.
die.
Yes. Sleepy session.
Yeah, I
all
remember there
got
were 2
there.
sleepy sessions, one of which after a night of drinking where I just came out bleary-eyed and I was just like, give me 5 minutes.
So, Nobushin Wave makes a good point. City of Towers, the field is visible. Yeah, so if hype gets made up in the 10 minutes, there are going to be people like peeking out windows and looking over their balconies watching this game.
Make it a spectacle.
It's a spectacle at that point.
Who knows? I might blow my portent rolls on this.
In the words of Liam O'Brien, it is a game. I can do whatever
It's a
I want.
game.
That's
I can do
true.
whatever I want. So, I'll kind of leave that up to you guys. If the other 2, the detectives, want to just
Yeah, remember when we were all detectives?
remember back when this was a detective
Now you
game?
guys are project players and
Yeah.
making the big bucks.
So we can either just plan on doing your thing the week after and make it like a session, or just next week we do the sports thing, or vice versa, we do the investigation thing first and then do sports game and kind of do it at once in a way.
I feel like the sports game will probably there's a like a in my mind there's a definitive end to where the sports game like one team is going to win or lose. With the investigation thing, that could go literally anywhere. So like I feel like doing the game first and then like getting through that part has like what could be considered a definite end,
Sure.
and then all the investigation stuff is still open-ended
Sure.
anyway.
And also
Would want to do that and not
Yeah.
and then like, oh, we have to cut off at a weird point so we can do this game.
No, yeah.
Whatever.
And I think also, as far as the game goes, what we can do is instead of treating it like combat, where it's very turn by turn, sort of treat it like bout by bout, and sort of make it a skill challenge in a way, so that way it moves just a little bit quicker, and and we'll come up with mechanic stuff for it, just that way it doesn't last 5 ever.
Yeah, we could try to limit it to like, I don't know, an hour. 90 minutes at most, something like that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
I feel like we could definitely do it for 30 minutes or 40.
Yeah, we'll
and
keep
that's
it
Yeah,
fine.
I'd be fine with that.
we'll keep
I
it
would be
pretty
okay
short.
with it.
Because I feel as though I know what the outcome will be, but we'll find out. So I want to leave you on this cliffhanger, as you guys are stretching and getting ready for this impromptu game. Wow, I did not expect that.
I did.
Donovan and Cornelius, you continue on your way hunting down the address of Keena Button. And eventually, you reach somewhat of an alleyway between some of the towers in the Stoneyard district. And it's essentially just one long alleyway that is several hundreds, if not thousands of feet long. Filled with apartments and shops and restaurants and bars and little bodegas and all sorts of stuff, just as far as you can see. Torches burning, magical lights ignited, lanterns, everything. And as you approach the end of this alleyway that matches the street of Keena Button's address, you see that there is a sign in sort of foreign and ancient looking script and font. The sign sprawls, 20, 30 feet across this wide alley. And the sign reads, and this is your fault, all of you. The sign reads, Little Barovia.
Fuck.
Hell yes.
God damn it.
A joke I made like 10 episodes ago.
It's back, baby. And that's where we'll stop for next week.
Great.
Oh, man.
I love it. Thank you.
Dude, that was so much fun. I'm glad to be back. Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Ooh,
we're
baby.
back, stronger than ever.
That's good. Man. And we got such a variety this session. Like, so much shit. Love it.
Variety session.
Variety session.
A variety. No, variety show. That's what I was
Yeah.
looking for. Mhm.
We've got conspiracy theories. We've got young adult trauma. We've got sports. We've got crossover episodes. We've got everything.
That's what we want. It's young adult trauma.
Childhood trauma leading into teenage trauma, leading into young adult trauma. This is all what it's about, folks. Working out trauma in front of a live audience.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
These characters aren't based off of ourselves at all.
Yeah.
Nope. None.
No, actually, not really.
No.
Oh, jeez.
Go up. I don't know. The only thing about Cornelius that is decidedly from my personality is the fact that he does not have his shit together whatsoever at any time.
I thought you were gonna say that, like, he smokes.
Yeah, that too.
But see, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, you don't do that
So
anymore.
You
can't
don't.
even say that anymore.
This is a blink into the past. A look into the past.
A look into the past.
What is this clip? I'm terrified.
There's no one as good as Bear. I'm excited.
Bear, yeah.
No,
I'm excited.
Anybody else. The other people were.
Just, I keep thinking about that clip that Rachel got of me playing Desync, where it's just like, he has wings now.
Oh man, I am pumped. Yeah, I think I've spoiled this for my players before, but I can't/don't prep much for these sessions because I never know what you guys are gonna do. I prep like beats, and that's it. Like, that's all. I think the only thing I prepped was like an optional encounter and Varian's advisor meeting, and that was it.
An optional encounter?
Yeah. Well, encounter, I mean like an alternate scene.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I say no, and she fucking takes
Yeah,
out
she
her
stabs
sword
you
and
in the heart
stabs
now.
me.
And so it's
Get
just
decked.
it's so fun how like I did not expect you to go find Kina Button. Well, I kind of did a while ago, and I was like, I'll put that on the back burner. And then it's worked out in such a splendid way. Love
I like
it.
the way you said that.
Oh yeah.
It's just fun.
You always make me nervous when you say things, Logan.
Just in general.
Just in general, yeah.
Just in general. I know how your devious mind works. I've been on the receiving end. You
It's
make
so-
me nervous when you say things.
It's so great to see you get yourself stuck in a corner. It's wonderful.
Oh man. And the best part, okay, I was gonna say this during the session while you guys were like conspiracy theorying. But something that I learned while GMing Call of Cthulhu is that, and I could tell you guys were trying so hard to keep the party together. But in Call of Cthulhu, like, some people have certain skills and knowledge and backgrounds. And so, like, if the entire group isn't there to, whenever you receive a piece of information, then, you know, it might be totally worthless because the person that needs to hear it isn't there. And that, spoiler, most definitely happened whenever you guys were at the Aurora Gallery during that, like, little mingling party. You guys split off, and I think each of you experienced something for another person, another character, and then didn't relay the information back, and so there was a lot of information that fell on deaf ears, and then
Oh
it
my
just...
God.
I can definitely imagine whose conversation was who was supposed to stumble in the conversation that I stumbled in on. That's for sure.
It happened a couple times, and it's just... That's why it's so fun to hear you guys piece stuff together, and I'm like, if you guys were just there together...
That was important to me.
No, dude. Yeah, Varian's there to support you when you want to look at
Long-term-
Alien tentacle objects.
Yeah. Long-term goals for Oleg have now been join the ARM so I can steal all of the Dalkir stuff.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, can we do Oleg's Heist as like a one-shot?
Oh yes.
I need to add that to my ever-growing list of Sharn Nights one-shots.
Like Heist, and it's like an Ocean 11, it's like type
Yeah.
session. Oh, I love it.
Oleg 6.
Can they all be that we should?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was playing Wasteland the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this is without trying to spoil too many things. There was a quest that I was doing. It involved clones. All I'm saying is the Oleg heist, the Delkir Aurum heist with Oleg should be Oleg and 5 clones of Oleg.
I'm just imagining Varian like plugging a wand into a wall and being like, "I'm in." Hacker voice, I'm in.
I'm in.
What would Varian's hacker voice sound like?
I feel like you try to like deepen it a little bit. I'm in.
But like you look at the like his little e-boy physique, and you're like, that voice doesn't sound right. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, everyone on the call would be like, Oleg, we'd be like, Van, are you okay? Is there like something in your throat, or
What's going on, man?
Yeah, and then he like egg backtracks. He's like, "No, wasn't working. I'm sorry. I need to take a loss.
I've
I'm in."
And also, I imagine, like, at some critical point, like, Varian, what's happening? And then he starts starting, just like, there's and the heist falls apart.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If you'll notice, Varian does not stutter as much when he's with his friends because he's grown to trust them.
Character
But
growth.
when somebody's just like, "Hey, make this big decision," he's just like, "Oh, fuck."
I love it. Oh man, maybe one day we'll start doing a little after the stream chats, and I can post that to my Patreon, a little after dark
I feel like
Sharn
after the
Nights
stream,
at night.
Chance may-
Speaking of Logan's Patreon, if you enjoyed tonight's content and have not already, consider subscribing to the Never Say Dice Patreon, and also consider, if you have not already, following the channel and dropping a subscribe if you can. Support our wonderful Dungeon Master
Please
at any
do.
opportunity
You'll get
if
some
you are
cool
able.
emotes.
Please.
He's so good.
You get some right now.
Hashtag, you don't have to quit your job anymore.
I did it already. It's awesome.
Yeah. Hashtag job has been quit, motherfucker.
So, I think on that note, that's a great time to wrap up. Maybe next week we can plan for like a little Sharn Nights at night thing.
At night.
I know. I really want to call it that. Like
Yes,
Sharn Nights
Sharn
After
Nights,
Dark,
After
classic.
Dark.
Yeah, After
Yeah.
Dark is classic, but at night, after already saying Sharn Nights, it's just fun. Like it's just funny. It's
That
stupid.
is good.
Sharn Nights at night. Sharn Nights at night after dark.
In the evening.
In the evening.
Dark
So,
Knight Rises.
so we'll plan on something fun. Next week, we're gonna play some sports games apparently, and turn into vampires. I feel like there was something else I was gonna add.
Nope.
Shut up, Travis. Yeah, I think that's about it. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us. We still have a great crowd, and I love it. So same time, same Sharn time, same Sharn place. Yeah, next week. We'll be doing some more stuff. I'll be, now that I'm back and we had this maiden stream for 2021, I'll be sharing some more video games this week. Woo! Probably be dipping back into Sherlock Holmes some, and I've had this inkling to play through Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 all the way through, and I think that'd be fun to do on stream.
That'd be awesome.
Because I just got the third one, and I've never played the third one before.
Nice. They're talking about doing a remaster.
I know.
Journey.
I know. I really want to do it. So we'll see. See if I've got the time, got the energy. 4 more years. But yes, I think that's it. Xavier, when are you streaming next?
I am streaming next tomorrow, which is Tuesday at 9 p.m. We are going to be playing The Evil Within 2, continuing our journey into madness.
I've been tuning in for those streams. They're I hate it. I hate it a lot, but it's so much fun. I remember, so I've been sitting here, like, I have it on one screen, and I'm, like, writing D&D stuff off to the side, and, like, I'm watching and listening, and Rachel has it, like, muted on her monitor that I can see over here, and, it was whenever you got into the church. It was the church scene, and, Rachel had not really been paying attention, but they looked over right as the church scene really kicked off, and Rachel was like, ew, Xavier, what? Ew! It was so funny.
That game is terrifying.
Oh,
That
man.
game is a wild.
I was in a Discord last night with our dear mod playing Genshin, and at points it was just like, "Yeah, I'm watching Xavier's stream. Oh God, that's nasty!
It's so awful, but I love it.
Nasty stream for nasty boys."
Yeah, so hop into the Zaddy zone tomorrow.
Oh God.
Alan, when are you streaming next? Or
Or
you don't have a schedule, so you don't know.
Probably not for the next couple days, because I'll be busy packing and moving. But,
Oh, that's right. Everyone wish luck.
after...
Alan luck on his move.
Thanks. But yeah, later in the week I'll try and stream something.
Nice. Austin, do you have plans to stream in the next?
Yeah, I think I've officially decided that I'm probably gonna continue streaming Desync at like 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So if anybody is alive and awake and wants to watch me basically play Geometric Doom, yeah,
I will
There's a
warn.
there's a pretty decent clip out there of me fighting a boss, which is kind of funny. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
I also hate my voice in that clip, but it's fine.
And I'll warn everyone, it's hard to do things while watching that game because it's so visually active that I kept looking over and I was just like,
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, being the person playing it and paying attention to it is just like,
yeah. Viewer discretion advised.
I would also warn people about. I'm also going to warn people about. It does give a photosensitivity warning at the beginning of the game, and it is very warranted. So,
be careful.
if you decide to come watch it, please be mindful of that.
Yes.
So.
So yes. We will see everyone very soon, hopefully. Help me get to 15 subscribers so you can get those rad creamer emotes. Invite your friends to subscribe. Give some subscriptions. Do all that good. We need to get those emotes. I might get impatient and make those my current emotes and then add the terrible homemade emotes as the bonus emotes, but we'll see. Because I love the creamer emotes. So yes, Jacob, get ready for this theme song. At the very least, we will see everyone same Sharn time. Same Sharn place. Let's play ball.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sharn.
There it is. Let's go.
Sharn.